condemned. Now about the towers. We'll go through this kind of quickly. Richard Gage has a great article on that. I want to show you, you see here in the upper right, you have a stove burning wood. I have a wood burning stove. And sometimes I'll put paper in there. So it's much like an office fire, I suppose. Office materials, typical in office, wood, paper. You could even put kerosene in there. I have a kerosene burning stove. It's also made out of iron or steel. You know, I don't expect that stove to deform and melt or collapse. It's just not going to do it. I've done the experiment many times. My kerosene stove also is quite happy to burn kerosene. You know, a jet fuel would be fine. It's a type of kerosene. I don't see a problem. Furthermore, you look at the connections on these columns. They're connected together. Well, you can see it in the picture on the right. That means that if you have a bonfire under one, go ahead, pile up all the desks and chairs and paper under one of those columns. And you start that fire off, and it lasts maybe a half hour or something. But that heat is wicked away. Again, it's this heat transport, you see. And so you have to take that into account. Except in a computer model, of course. You can get away with murder, actually, if you think about it. But okay, back to the official model now presented by Besant in a published paper. How to get a complete tower collapse. Their argument in this paper is that where the planes went in and there are fires, then somehow there's this weakness, rather simultaneous, and this upper block of floors acts as a tamper to push down, so it stays fairly intact as a tamper. Makes some sense, right? But wait a minute, how about Newton's third law, which says that if the upper block exerts a force on the lower block of floors, the lower block exerts an equal force, students, on the upper block. Equal. That arrow is not shown. It's not considered in this paper. It's there. You cannot overcome the laws of physics. Now, this is, again, a freshman error in physics, Newtonian physics, which I taught for over 21 years, to ignore the third law, reaction force. But let's look at the data. Maybe somehow this upper block, as it moves, I don't know, exerts. Let's see what happens to the upper block from the data. This from the North Tower. And on the right, you see in slow motion, the upper block. Is it just wiping out the lower block? You can see the area where they meet. No, the upper block itself is being disintegrated. Did you see that? Let's look at it again, please. You can see the antenna poking up there. The antenna went through the whole ride of this thing. But you see, there's a force equal and opposite, up and down, and the upper block, which, by the way, has thinner columns. That's the way it was built. The columns get, the core columns get smaller, thinner as you go up. Furthermore, the fire would have weakened the upper columns, and indeed that's what you see. It's the upper columns that are destroyed. So then what is left, where's this block, this tamper that's supposed to wipe out the lower floors? Sorry, it ain't there, you know. I mean, look at the data. You know, it just bothers me that they have this nice model on the left, but it's inconsistent with observation. It's also inconsistent with Newton's laws. Here's another photo showing later as one of the towers has collapsed. You can see the zone of destruction. It's quite clear, isn't it? You can see where right through here. But where's the tamper? Where's this block of floors? Well, indeed, there's smoke coming up there. It's gone. On both towers, you see this effect. That upper block of floors is gone by the time you get halfway down of the buildings, approximately. It's gone. There is no tamper. And it doesn't wait till you get to the ground for the upper block to be destroyed. It's already destroyed. It isn't there. It's just amazing to me that they missed that. So the official story is full of holes, just like the steel found. You see, it's just full of holes. By the way, the towers also came down at near free fall speeds. No stacked up floors. Here's an actual photograph then following the collapse. Where are the stacked up floors if there's some pancaking going on? Like the Popular Mechanics article said, they're not there. On the right we have pancaking that can occur, but it didn't occur at the World Trade Center. There is no stacking of floors. Furthermore, the core columns are gone. Those core columns provided a lot of the support in these towers, and they are gone. That suggests again to me use of explosives. Now, let's see. As I started writing about this, and here's one of these papers that I asked you to read as homework, I received an email from a fellow who identified himself as a contractor with Homeland Security contacts. As soon as this article was out on the internet, he wrote to me. I'm going to quote from his email. "The publication of this article can be stopped, and I have the contacts to make this happen. You need to give this very serious consideration. This is an issue that is more important than any individual career." I think he was talking about my career. "As painful as it may seem now, perhaps it may be less painful than could occur after publication." That almost sounds like a threat. I don't know. "I have learned to appreciate the value of silence, even in the case of superior data and information." He could not refute my arguments, and so he said, "Shut up anyway." I have learned to appreciate the value of silence. Now, this paper was formally published in a book by Professor Scott and Professor Griffin in August of, so there's several things happening, but anyway, August of 2006. In September 6th, I was put on administrative leave. I think this was probably part of it. And that was pretty much the end of my teaching career. Here I am teaching into a worldwide university, so thank you. Okay, thank you.